All right, earlier today, while appearing on Fox and Friends, former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, had harsh words for the Mueller investigation and the FBI's tactics.
The fact is that Rob Rosenstein has not done his job. He has not supervised Mueller. This whole thing is an absurdity. We've now had one person, Paul Manafort and his wife, in their pajamas at 3 o'clock in the morning, having the FBI break down the door. We've had this last week. Cohen, the lawyer, have the door taken off the hinges at 6 in the morning. We're supposed to have the rule of law. It ain't the rule of law when they kick in your door at 3 o'clock in the morning and you're faced with armed men and you have had no reason to be told you're going to have that kind of treatment. That's Stalin. That's the Gestapo in Germany. That shouldn't be the American FBI.
All right, as we continue with Joe DeGeneva and Professor Alan Dershowitz, these tactics are not American. That's the point. This is what we expect in Venezuela. This is not the United States or anything. So my question to you, what does the president now do? Because I don't think you can, in good faith, ever talk to Robert Mueller anymore.
I think that's right. Look, nobody should ever talk to a prosecutor unless they have absolutely no alternative. No prosecutor is trying to help a person who is a subject in investigation. Right. Just ask Martha Stewart what happens when you talk to prosecutors. But he may have no choice. That was horrible.
She wasn't that lying to the FBI, not the underlying crime.
Right, right. And that's what happens. And that's, of course, why they want him to come and testify. Because remember, you can be charged with perjury for telling the truth. If somebody else gives a contrary story and the prosecutors decide to believe the other person, you can end up in a perjury trap for telling the truth.
These are unbelievable times. I remember during the Clinton impeachment, people like Professor Dershowitz, Joe, were saying, where's the sense of proportionality? Where is the prosecutorial discretion in a lot of these things?
Yes.
I worry for the country because the president no longer can trust Mueller. What is his legal team to do here? Because now I would argue they've now got to go on offense and they've got to make their case and they've got to understand that it seems like there's no topic that is off the table here.
Well, as a result of the tactics authorized by Mueller and instigated by Mueller in New York with the raid of the Cohen office, and as a result of the manner in which they raided the Paul Manafort home, it is now clear that Mueller is acting in bad faith, that he has surrounded himself with literally a bunch of legal terrorists, and that they are conducting an interim grand jury. They are not interested in getting facts from the President of the United States through an interview. They are trying to trap him into a perjury trap or simply get information that they can send to Rosenstein to transmit to the House of Representatives for impeachment. Those are improper methods for seeking to question the President of the United States. The President should refuse to cooperate with them completely. No more documents, no testimony. And if necessary, he should also take the Fifth Amendment.
Here's my next question, then.
Take the Fifth.
No, I don't think he should take the Fifth. Let me explain why. If he takes the Fifth, they can give him immunity, and then they can compel him to testify, and the evidence can be used against him in an impeachment proceeding, because the privilege against self-incrimination doesn't apply in an impeachment proceeding. So I think it's a mistake, but he could take the Sixth. Let me explain how he does that. What he says is, I would love to testify. I have nothing to hide. But my lawyers have told me that under no circumstances will they allow me to testify. I don't want to lose my lawyers. I have a right to be represented by counsel, and I have to listen to my lawyer's advice.
What about, Joe, I laid out, look at the team that Mueller's put together. Why would anybody who's supposed to be fair, balanced, and objective ever hire Andrew Weissman, with one of the most atrocious records of any lawyer that I've ever read about, and frankly, even Mueller, going back to Boston and the anthrax case. Well, these are not small cases here.
Let me just say, I agree with everything that Alan said, and I just take a different view of why the president should take all legal steps necessary to avoid testifying. And by the way,
I agree with that.
If Mueller attempted to immunize him, I happen to believe that there are legal arguments that would make the president not have to comply with an order to make him testify before a grand jury. But let's put that aside. Mueller has no legitimacy. the tactics that they have chosen to use against a president of the United States, against whom there is no evidence of a crime and never has been from the beginning, the use of those techniques has delegitimized this investigation. Here's the other thing that's going on. Robert Mueller and Rod Rosenstein and Christopher Wray are doing mortal damage to the institutions that they represent. The American people know what's going on. They're watching this, and they are not happy. And I must tell you, Robert Mueller, I used to think was a decent guy and a guy who had a great career. He is destroying his reputation through the thuggish tactics which he has authorized and through the people that he has surrounded himself with.
Let me remind you,
Andrew Weissman.
Let me remind you
yes, sir.
where this began. Let's go back in time. The Clintons were being investigated for Whitewater. What did it end up with? It ended up with a perjury charge for not disclosing an alleged sexual relationship with a woman that had nothing to do with the alleged underlying crime. And we allowed that to happen. And some of the same people who are complaining today were pushing that kind of thing, including some of the senators and congressmen.
This circumstance, Joe, I hear you dying to get it. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that I agree with Alan, and I think the one thing we shouldn't do is repeat a mistake.
That's right.
I just have to tell you that what Bob Mueller is doing and has done is destroying the Department of Justice. And for Jeff Sessions to sit there like a bump on a log and do nothing about it is disgraceful.
I think we all agree on that.
And I would take it one step further. I think Jeff Sessions engaged in wrongful conduct by not telling the president before he was appointed that I'm going to recuse myself. The president never would have appointed him. The president doesn't want a part-time attorney general. He would have had a nice conversation saying, I appreciate you're recusing yourself, but I need a full-time attorney general. And then he would have appointed Joe DeGeneva to be the attorney general.
Well, maybe Joe, or maybe you, Professor. All right. Guys, thank you. Very smart analysis. Our audience needs to hear from both of you.